So now I understand that probably, or I don't fully understand, but probably they were just finding all of this through their connection with nature. So probably that's why they were going to a cave or to a special beach or under the special moon. And because it's all over there, I mean, like, it makes so
Yeah,
sense now.
yeah. Don't forget though that in the middle of all that, because that sounds kind of fatalistic, like, well, it's just part of nature, so I should be able to reproduce it. It sounds totally fatalistic, but yeah, you're exactly right. It is totally part of nature. But imagine this now, outside of all of that is one individual who exists through time that you cannot see, but she is there. And she perpetuates the mystery. Right. Now, think about it. They're thinking about this architecture because if they can understand, okay, there's an unseen, what they would call, wait, what they called, not would, what they called the unseen. And that dimension can be manipulated. And all you have to do is come through the initiation to be able to get your worker's permit to where you can then work. Let me give you an example. Vampires. Vampires go right back. And I was just searching for the Mormolucaina, who's this very mysterious lady who loves the blood and bodily emissions of boys. You say, wait a minute, what? I can tell you more about her and how she survives on blood. But if I tell you that she is alive now and then, that she is one of these immortals that lives via the ambrosia. They are around you and they are invisible, but they can be made visible. This is the power of the Magus to make them visible. So, something that they did very well in the Dracula that just came out by Luc Besson, that he portrayed a female in a state of vampirism where she was heightened, charged sexually. And that was her thing. She was a succubus. She was living within that disguise. He must have had access to Apollonius of Tyana because he brought that character back completely. Who are these people? I just told you time travel. They're talking about time travel. Well, remember, all of that is based around the existence of these invisible, other dimensional entities that are around you all the time. And you can influence those according to their own texts. You can influence those. You can manipulate. And the whole incubus thing is the perfect, that's the heart of all this necromancy stuff that they're doing. Because remember, Circe fucks Odysseus. It's a whole part of the deal. If you haven't been there, you haven't been to see the queen. That's the point, right? So,
Can we go there? Can we just go there like we said before, like you're connected with the necromancy and these entities that you are talking about now, the succubus, the incubus. Could you give us like a bit of what we're talking about when we are talking about this?
Sure. So they're primarily sexual. They say the daimones, they call them daimones, the powers that are in the air, that are invisible, aoratos. Those invisible powers are attracted to certain passions. They don't have eyes or ears. They can't see or smell or feel. What attracts them is passion. What is that inner drive, right? That you have got as a living being, as an organism. You feed off that drive those drives that you have, they have like radiation. Anyway, there's a particular class of the daimones that are drawn by a sexual energy. And people have been writing about them for a long time. Not only did the ancient Greeks write about them, but the Byzantine scholars wrote about them, and like King James wrote an entire work on these different classes of demons, particularly the sexual classes. And where is he getting all of this stuff? He's getting it from antiquity, because it's when the language is at its most crisp that they're able to identify and really create the science of demonology, for lack of a better word. But when I say that, you have to understand that those are the powers that cause illness, right? So they're integrated into the medicine, what you and I would call the medicine of antiquity. You mean they're casting out demons when they're performing medical operations? Absolutely. That's a whole part of it, right? And that priestess, if you're a melancholic person, that priestess can cast out that demon for you. It's all a science. She's going to give you some drugs, and she's going to perform some kind of operations. They're going to have stuff being fumigated. Shit, you may step on a snake while you're there. You know what I mean? You've got to appreciate all the different levels of medicine, levels of science and tech and medicine that are, included in this one big thing of the mystery. Anyway, the incubus and the succubus are those demons, those powers that are drawn by that sexual energy and that desire. It's not just sexual. I don't mean to sound like a guru and from India or something. I'm not describing some kind of chakra or something. No, no, no. What
Okay.
I'm saying is within the intelligent universe where there is order, what the Greeks called cosmos, there are forces that are charged with carrying out these particular passions, and that these invisible forces can be accessed by what you and I know as the visible. So the whole Bacchic rite leading to Aphrodite, what do you think? Do you think that the Bacchic women are succubi? They have a reputation for being extremely sexually charged, Christed, and carrying around baskets with dildos and snakes in them. They're known for killing people, for sacrificing people. It's just total strangers. They're known for invading communities, right? They're known for hostilities. They're known for taking hostages, particularly. And what do they do with those hostages? Most of them end up dead, but it's what they did to them before they killed them that really matters. Now, is that the type of world that doesn't appreciate life as much? I don't know if you want to make that judgment. I guess you can in this particular case, but this is not the world that we're familiar with. This is what's coming out of the text. And it's just, I can't, all you need to do is look at one ancient formula for a cream that you put on the head of your penis that will cause you to hallucinate once you've introduced it to somebody's rectum or vagina and have entered into coitus with them. This is going to, when you see a description of this, it's not technology that we understand, right? It's involving things that we don't understand. And if you want to put yourself in your place, read Aristotle for 10 minutes and realize these fucking people, if it's aliens, I don't care, right? I don't really care anymore. Extra dimensional, I don't care. The fact is they have an access to a knowledge and a technology that we don't. We no longer possess. We no longer use.
That's amazing.
And yeah.
It's amazing. What is
Yeah.
pharmakeia? The concept of pharmakeia.
Pharmakeia is the use of natural elements to affect your surroundings. It is most essentially magic. It is often translated straight up as sorcery, but it is specifically, in all the references that I've seen it, it is most basically the use of the elements in your environment to manipulate nature in a way that you desire. It is magic. And those elements are the drugs, what you and I would call the drugs. Drugs that are found in plants, drugs that are found in soils, drugs that are found in living venoms. This natural world with its elements can be a tool for manipulating your existence within the cosmos. So let me give you an example. The best example of pharmakeia, and you'll see it associated with this all the time, is the erotic magic. So you want somebody to be attracted to you. Say you're Jason and you're off to seduce Medea. You can use the elements of nature in order to hedge your bets. You can drug her in order to abduct her and rape her and bear children with her. Okay, this is the thought process that pharmakeia facilitates. Most of these things that you call sorcery and witchcraft, they're the use of the natural elements of the world in order to affect an erotic response. So all of the creams, all of the perfumes, all of the salves and ointments that we're going to be using, or that Circe is going to be using, or the Temple of Aphrodite is going to be using, this is the magic, the sorcery that brings us that real mystery. You truly cannot be inspired until you've been manipulated by that witch. And that witch uses pharmakeia. So people would say today pharmakeia is the use of drugs in antiquity, something like that. The use of drugs in antiquity. But because they haven't read texts that talk about pharmakeia and all the sorceresses that are involved and all the magic that's involved, they don't see the predominance of sex. They don't see the predominance of what they call filtra, the use of specific sex drugs, right, that are meant for one thing. Jason sails to Colchis, right? But before he does, he stops off at Lemnos and he rapes one of the locals. And he does so by drugging her. And why? Because Jason was trained by the greatest Thessalian big-cocked centaur that there was. And what was his magic? It was all the drugs. He actually gives her, the Greek says, he drugs her and rapes her. So that's what the language is showing us for pharmakeia. That's who's using it. You know, people think because of medieval images of the witch, they think witchcraft is, you know, some whatever, a pot and a stick and a
Yeah, and when we talk about the witch now, it's like this same thing through time, through all the prohibition or whatever, how the things were changing through time. The witch, like all of this medicine woman became what they will call the witch 1,000 years after, or 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever. These witches, this herbolaria idea, this medicine woman idea that we know now as like the, I don't know, like the thousands, like the 16th century, like the witches, the hunting
Right.
witches or whatever.
Right.
It's like this. It seems to be like the same. They became that for the society,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah, we lost our image. We lost our image of what all these different pharmacists were. We don't really understand. We think that there were something from, as you said, the 16th, right, century. No. We're talking about a different time, and we're talking about very different principles, you know, that are floating in the culture, governing. There's nothing weird about mother going out to her cultivated garden and picking up her opium, um, slashing it and waiting for the milk to drain from it so she can collect it and give it to her daughter because her daughter's having pain during her menstruation. And this is what you do. That's just a, that's just a part. There's a religious component to that that you don't see because the earth there is the giver of that element. And so, therefore, what are you doing? You're following Gaia, right? And of course you would, because you're initiated into the great mysteries, right? The Great Mother is what it's all about. You see, there's no, just like we talked about before, generalizations suck, and anybody who gives them to you, they're just full of shit. It's like giving you methodology, right? Screw that. Just give me the evidence. Let me figure out what it says or doesn't say. The the problem is we can't see how witchcraft, sorcery actually function because we're looking through a very hostile lens of Christianity that is portrayed, taken that figure and created for us the modern concept of the witch. Yeah, so it's not fair because all of this stuff is coming through that religious mystery that's being propagated over time. And so, it's studyable, it's traceable. You can examine it, break it down just from I do the words, other people can do the the plants, all the plants that are involved. You were talking about the Mithraic liturgy. You got to bring plants.
Hello, crew. Greetings from the road. I just wanted to communicate that we just opened our Stones and Serpents Patreon. Finally, we are now constantly uploading different audiovisual materials. Some are free and some are not. We are sharing SNS behind the scenes, raw footage of the current Eastern expedition, official soundtracks, and even collections of future productions like shortcuts and documentaries. Finally, I would like also to encourage all of you to become a part of the Explorer chat. It's free and gives us a good platform to engage in research. Please feel free to scout the different modalities, from free member to an Explorer membership or Territory Explorer or even a Pathfinder membership where we can co-produce and open a direct contact with the SNS production board to even create new projects and to do what we all love the most, to explore new territories. We're an independent production company and this is part of our organic growth. So we deeply appreciate your support. Thank you all. And again, greetings from the crew.
Remember, you were asking about these entities, these invisible entities. There's an entire physics to determining what those entities are. I mean, you talk about humans and aliens, and now you talk about this type of alien, this lizard person, right? That is infantile in comparison to the science of the invisible world with all of its entities, right? And people think, oh, you're talking Harry Potter and, oh, God, these big angels with wings. No, you're talking about the forces around you right now sitting there that can influence and will influence you. This is why a magus can put an image in your brain. Why from a distance? You can be sitting, this is the idea. And if you want to get into the Mormolucaean, that's really where the entity from which this power comes.
Ammon, please. The other day I was trying to find the word because I was translating a conversation we had and you talked about her and it's impossible to find the word. So I just put ancient Greek or whatever. I don't remember. Yeah. But yeah, it's a her, isn't it?
Yes. And remember, they're interacting with the language that is magical, that is based in Greek. But the pronunciation of it, the creation of its song, causes an effect on the invisible forces around you. So that's why Jesus can walk around and say, in the name of so-and-so, I command this and that. He's manipulating the same forces. But one of these forces that Mormolucaean is combined with the tradition of entering into that dream zone of the pubescent child. So imagine that there is an entity in the world whose satanic energy, whose Saturnian energy radiates from the pubertal development itself. That energy can be manipulated and expressed so that you suddenly are surrounded by those who would vampirically feed off of that very same energy. Right? You can go to bed tonight, lay down in bed, and I can send that Mormolucaean, that devouring, child devouring source. Right? Because that's what happens in that development of that Attis, right, to the Adonis. There is a loss. And that Mormolucaean is the physical, invisible, cosmic force that I, as a magus, can manipulate. Medea's killing from a distance was only a killing from a distance because it involved the manipulation of those forces, right? Otherwise, it's impossible. The person's way over there in a different country. Right? How can I do this? It's a physics that you don't need to calculate distance for. And I'm telling you, when you are able to induce a consistent vision, when you are able to create a situation where an eidolon, a statue, can speak to a crowd, a diverse crowd, and that crowd can record the same spoken vocalizations. When you're able to do that, you're working with, you're manipulating something there on a grand level. And it wasn't just the Greek mysteries that were able to do this. The Egyptian mystery claimed the same power, and especially the power of what they called motivation. Right? How do you make that? You walk into a creepy, dark temple, right? You're standing there, and here's the statue of the lion-headed goddess. You and I look at that as tourists. We don't get it. But if you were Christed and interacting with the invisible in spirit form, that image takes on a power that, yeah, okay, it could change a life. It could change the way you look at the world. So I think it's frightening, and it's depicted that way as, for a reason. All of these Medusae, all of these these monster faces, that Haka, that those gorgeous Maori bring to the world, that Haka is the same thing. It's that demon invisible force. If I could send a Haka to someone who's sleeping, and get them, right, and pull them out of, you've been there, you've been in that dream, and you've been pulled out by these are forces that you can actively manipulate so that you can cause, this is the cool one, you can cause people to say things, right, without prompting them. You can introduce logoi. You can introduce sentiments into their thumos. You can introduce an idea without saying it, without repeating it, I can just do it from a distance. Why would I even want to do that kind of thing? I suppose just to see what the connections are in the universe. But I'm going to practice it by taking my cousin, who really is in love with that girl, and I'm going to implant in her mind love for him back.